The stars were quiet that night. Nothing moved near the edge of known space. Just silence. Cold. Empty. On a small deep space station named Outpost Helios, a technician named Mara Lynn was on her night shift. She sat alone in the control room, sipping hot coffee and staring at blinking screens. Most nights were boring, but not this one. A soft beep broke the silence. Her eyes widened. It was a signal, but not from Earth, not from any known alien species either. It was old, very old. The pattern was strange, like music, but not human music. It repeated every 12 seconds. Mara frowned. Computer source? Unknown. She tapped her earpiece. Commander Rourke, I think you need to see this. Minutes later, Commander Rourke, tall and gray-haired, stood beside her, arms crossed. Play it again, he said. The signal played. It echoed across the room like a ghost. The lights flickered. Rourke's face tightened. Send it to Earth. Full alert. Level 5. Tell them we've got something strange. 2 hours later, the station's scanners picked up a large object. It was heading toward their sector. No heat, no engine, just drifting. But fast. Too fast. What the hell is that? Rourke whispered. The object was the size of a battleship. Black as space, no lights, no windows, no signals. It's a ship, Mara said, but it's not broadcasting anything. As it got closer, the signal changed. Louder, sharper. Now it wasn't just sound. It had words hidden inside. Human. Words. Mara played a filtered version. The computer translated. We are not dead. We wait. Do not open. Rourke stared at the screen. Who sent this? Earth Command reacted fast. They sent the UN Guardian, a military cruiser, to Outpost Helios. The captain of the Guardian, Captain Silva, took over control. I want a full scan of that ship, Silva said. No one boards it until we know what it is. But the scans showed nothing. No life signs, no fuel, no power source. Still, the ship moved, as if it knew where it was going. Later that night, Mara stayed behind to review the signal. She wore headphones and listened closely. Suddenly, a voice whispered in her ear. Hello, Mara. She froze. Her coffee cup slipped from her hand and shattered. She pulled off her headset. What was that? She checked the audio file. Nothing was there, just the same pattern. But she knew what she heard. A voice saying her name. The next morning, Captain Silva gave the order. Send a team to board it, carefully. 4 soldiers in black suits entered the ship. Their helmet cameras streamed live to the control room. At first, everything looked normal. Dark metal walls, empty halls, strange symbols. Then the lights inside the ship turned on by themselves, one by one. Did you do that? Silva asked. No, ma'am. One soldier replied. The ship, it's reacting to us. Then, the feed, cut off, static. Team 1 respond, Silva shouted. No answer. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Finally, the doors to the alien ship opened again. One man walked out. He was from the team. But something was wrong. His eyes were all black. No whites, no color, just black. He looked calm. Too calm. Captain Silva ran forward. What happened in there? Where's the rest of your team? He smiled. They're inside now, with the voices. They put him in quarantine. Scans showed he was still human, but something was different inside his brain, like it had been reprogrammed. He didn't speak again. He just stared at the walls, whispering to himself. The words made no sense. Mara watched him through the glass. Suddenly he turned and looked directly at her, and smiled. You heard it too, he said. She stepped back. He added, It called your name. Later, Mara sat alone in the communications room. She replayed the signal again. For a moment she felt like she understood something, like the signal wasn't just sound. It was a warning, but not for them. It was meant for something else. Commander Rourke walked in quietly. "You okay?" he asked. "No," she said honestly. I think that ship didn't come here by accident." He nodded. "You believe it came here on purpose?" "Yes," Mara said. "And I think it wants something from us." He looked out the window. The ship floated there, dark and silent, just outside the station. Rourke's voice dropped low. "I think it wants us to open it," Mara whispered. "And that's exactly what we should never do." The alien ship floated near Outpost Helios, silent like a dead moon. No signals, no response. But everyone felt it. Watching. Inside the station, fear grew. Commander Rourke and Captain Silva argued behind closed doors, but it was clear. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The first boarding team was still missing. Only one man had come back, and he wasn't the same. He sat in a locked medical room whispering to himself, smiling like he knew a dark joke no one else understood. He hadn't said anything since he spoke to Mara. Captain Silva decided to send a second team. This time they picked 6 soldiers, strong, trained, fearless. They were given better gear. Body cameras, heat sensors, heart monitors. "We're going in and coming back with answers," said Sergeant Cole, the team leader. They stepped into the ship. The doors closed behind them. Inside the ship, the halls were long, dark, and cold. Metal walls, strange shapes, no lights, until they walked further in. Then slowly the lights began to glow, by themselves. "Looks like it's waking up again," said one soldier, nervously. The air was thick, heavy. Their footsteps echoed, like they were being followed. Suddenly one of the soldiers stopped. "Wait, what is that?" On the wall something moved, not fast, just a slow pulse, like breathing. "It's alive," whispered another. "The ship is alive." In the control room, Mara and Rourke watched the video feed. The soldiers looked small inside the massive ship. "This design, it's not alien we've seen before," Mara said. "It's too clean, too organized." Rourke nodded. "Like it was built for something more than travel." Then the feed glitched. For 1 second, everything went dark. Then it came back. But something was wrong. The soldiers were gone. "Where did they go?" Captain Silva shouted. "Rewind the feed." They played it again. At 19 minutes and 33 seconds, the team was walking. At 19 minutes and 34 seconds, they vanished. No sound, no scream, just a empty hallway. All 6 gone. Mara felt cold sweat on her back. "What is this place?" she whispered. Suddenly, one camera came back online. Just one. It was shaky, blurry, soundless. It showed a dark room. In the center, something moved. Something tall, thin, with long arms. It wasn't human. Then the screen filled with static. The camera shut down. Silva's voice was cold. "We're not sending anyone else." Later that night, Mara couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the signal. She returned to the comms room. She played the audio again, slow this time. Then she did something new. She reversed the signal, and what she heard froze her blood. "The door is opening. You let it in. You are the key." Suddenly, the signal stopped. Her screen went black. Then words appeared by themselves. "Hello, Mara." She screamed and backed away. At the same time, in the med room, the returned soldier stood up. No one had entered, no one had unlocked the door. Still, it opened by itself. He walked out. Calm. Silent. Guards raised their guns. "Stop right there." He kept walking, his eyes still black. No fear. They fired stun shots. He didn't fall. He looked at them, and they dropped their weapons. Some force, something invisible, pushed them to the ground. Commander Rourke ran into the hallway. "What's going on?" The soldier looked at him and spoke. "They were not meant to wake, but you touched the key." Rourke pointed his sidearm. "Who are you?" "We were the jailers. Now, the locks are gone." Then he collapsed. His eyes turned normal again. He looked up, confused. Where am I? He had no memory of the last 48 hours. That same night, the alien ship started to glow. A low hum vibrated through the station. The stars outside flickered like the ship was bending space. A new message came through the comm system. No sender, just a voice. They have found your world. It begins again. Silva called Earth Command. We need a fleet, now. But Earth was already responding. A warning had gone out across human and alien colonies. One line repeated again and again. Unidentified. Vessel. Do not approach, do not open. Repeat, do not open. It was too late. The door had already opened, and something was coming through. All across Earth's colonies, fear spread fast. The mysterious black vessel floating near Outpost Helios was not just a ship. It was something more. And it was now active. The first team was gone. The second team disappeared too. One soldier returned, but changed. His memories were broken, his eyes black like space, and he spoke in strange voices. People were scared. Whispers began. Some believed the ship was a weapon. Others thought it was a warning. But the top minds on Earth came to one conclusion. The ship was not built to travel. It was built to contain. Earth Command held an emergency meeting. Generals, scientists, and leaders joined the call. On the big screen, the alien ship slowly rotated near the station, dark and quiet again. We need answers, said General Zhao. And we can't send more soldiers to die. Then a calm voice spoke from the back. We don't need more soldiers, said Dr. Lena Voss. We need someone who can speak to it. Dr. Voss was Earth's top expert in alien languages. She had studied over 17 known species and their symbols. But the markings on this ship were different. Ancient. Older than anything in the archives. You believe it can speak? Zhao asked. I believe it's already trying, she said. One day later, Earth launched its most advanced ship, the UEN Iron Star. It was big, powerful, and full of the best minds Earth had. On board was a full crew of scientists, engineers, and soldiers. At the center of it all, Dr. Lena Voss. As the ship moved through space, Lena sat in her lab. She stared at the strange symbols from the alien ship. She had a strange feeling in her chest. Like these symbols were familiar. But how? When the Iron Star arrived near Outpost Helios, the crew was shocked. The alien ship had changed. New markings had appeared on the outside. Glowing red symbols that looked like they were burning from inside the metal. It's alive, Lena whispered. Captain Reese, commander of the Iron Star, stepped beside her. Dr. Voss, you're sure you're ready for this? No, she said honestly, but I don't think we have a choice. Lena didn't board the alien ship. Instead, the Iron Star launched, a small drone filled with lights, scanners, and sound tools. Lena used it to project signals and try to talk to the vessel. The ship answered, not with sound, but with images. She saw flashes in her mind. A dark planet, a great war, something massive being trapped inside a machine. Then a voice. It wasn't loud. It didn't sound alien. It was something worse. It sounded human. Do not wake what sleeps inside. Lena gasped and pulled off her headset. Her nose was bleeding. Later, she met with Captain Reese. I think the ship is a prison, she said. It was made to hold something very old, very dangerous. What kind of something? I don't know, Lena said. But it's not just a creature. It's more. It's like, it reaches through the mind. It speaks to people, shows them things, maybe even controls them. Reese frowned. You're saying it's psychic? No. I'm saying it's worse than that. That night, Lena dreamed. She was standing inside the alien ship. Everything was dark, cold. Then, far away, she saw a door. It was covered in chains and symbols, glowing red. Suddenly, something behind it moved. Then a voice whispered, "You are the key." She woke up screaming. In the med bay, doctors checked her. She had no injuries, but her brain showed high levels of activity, like she had been awake for hours solving puzzles. But Lena knew what was happening. The ship was inside her head. The next day, the Iron Star received a new signal, not from the alien ship, but from deep space. Farther than any human ship had traveled, the signal was short, broken. But Lena could understand parts of it. She translated it out loud. Warning, prison weak, humans, key holders, enemy coming. The last words chilled the entire room. If it wakes, it remembers. Captain Reese called Earth Command again. We need backup, more ships, more scientists. But Earth was silent for a few seconds. Then a voice came through. You are not the only ones who saw the signal. Lena turned pale. It meant other races, other powers were watching too. Maybe even the enemy that built the prison in the first place, or worse. The ones locked inside were calling for help. As the Iron Star floated in orbit, the alien ship opened a new chamber. Inside was a strange room. A perfect circle, symbols on the walls, no doors, no windows, just a mirror. But when the drone scanned, it didn't reflect. It showed something else, a world covered in fire, broken moons, dead stars. Then, a shadow stepped into view. It had no face, just eyes, and it looked directly at the drone. The feed cut. Lena whispered, "It saw us." Space around Outpost Helios felt different. It was heavy, like the air before a storm. The black prison ship no longer drifted in silence. Now it pulsed with red light, as if it had a heartbeat. Aboard the UEN Iron Star, alarms rang. Captain Reese stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the screens. Energy levels inside the alien vessel are rising, the science officer said. Nothing we can match in the records. Reese clenched his fists. Keep our shields up. If it fires, we move. But Dr. Lena Voss knew the ship would not shoot. It had a different weapon. Fear. The first pulse without warning. A wave of red light burst from the prison ship. It looked slow, like syrup, yet it crossed space faster than any missile. The pulse smashed into Helios Station, then flowed over the Iron Star like water. Lights on the bridge flickered. Crew members gasped as sparks flew from consoles. Some fell to their knees, clutching their heads. Lena felt fire in her mind. She heard many voices whispering together. The door is open, the door is open. She pressed her palms to her ears, but the voices were inside, not outside. She forced herself to speak. "Captain," she said, her voice shaking. "That pulse was not meant to kill. It was a signal," Reese finished, eyes wide. "A wake-up call." Inside the prison ship, a drone still floated deep inside the alien vessel. Its tiny camera showed a huge, circular chamber. The one with the mirror that did not reflect. Now the mirror glowed white, brighter than any star. Across the wall, thick metal chains trembled and snapped one after another like brittle ice. As each link broke, red symbols flared and vanished. The drone could not feel fear, but every human watching the feed did. Something behind the mirror pressed forward, pushing the surface like a hand under thin rubber. Then the mirror ripped open. Black smoke poured out, twisting like living rope. Within the smoke, a tall shape moved. Too thin, too sharp, wrong in every way. The drone tried to focus, but its lens cracked, and the feed died. Silence filled the control room. No one breathed. Lena's vision. The pulse still echoed in Lena's skull. Her eyes rolled back. She saw a vision, a long dead battlefield under a red sky. Broken ships floated in the air like fallen leaves. In the center stood the black prison ship, but newer, shining, guarded by hundreds of human war cruisers, old designs never seen in today's fleet. She heard a great voice, the same human-sounding voice from her last dream. "We locked them away. We paid the price. Do not fail our watch." Then the vision shattered. She was back on the bridge, shaking, sweat on her face. What the sensors caught, Captain, the sensor chief said, voice small. Something left the alien vessel. Mass reading. Is uncertain. It is there, then not there. Reese leaned closer to the screen. A faint blur moved between the prison ship and Helios station. It had no clear shape, only darkness in the form of smoke and claws. Trajectory? He asked. It is heading for the station. Reese stabbed the comm button. Helios raised shields, arm point defense. But the blur did not attack. It passed through the station's shields like fog through wire mesh. Inside, lights failed sector by sector. Then the emergency channel filled with terrified screams. The station goes dark. Commander Rourke tried to rally his crew. He shouted orders, but people could barely stand. Hallways twisted in their eyes. Walls bled red light. Some thought they heard their names whispered from unseen mouths. Rourke dragged Mara Lynn into the command hub and sealed the door. Stay with me, he said. Mara trembled. It's talking in my head again. Fight it, he told her, though he felt the same cold voice sliding through his thoughts. The floor shook. Power died completely. Only red emergency lamps stayed on. Something heavy scraped across the outer hull, like claws on metal. A second. Signal back on the Iron Star, systems rebooted. The unknown energy was gone for now. Lena used the short comm to open a secure channel to Earth Command. She spoke fast, sharing every detail. The pulse, the chains, the creature. General Zhao answered with grim news. Other colonies had picked up matching energy spikes, some on the far side of human space, some inside alien territories. It's not one prison, Zhao said. There are more. We think they're all waking. A chill ran through the bridge. Crew. Preparing to act, Captain Reese turned to Lena. Can you talk to it? Slow it down? Lena swallowed. Her head still rang, but she nodded. I can try. If I link my mind again, maybe I can learn what it wants. But I might not come back. Reese put a steady hand on her shoulder. You won't go alone. We'll send a shuttle close to the ship. If anything happens, we pull you out. Lena managed a weak smile. Then we better hurry. I don't think Helios will last. The creature reveals itself on Helios station. Rourke's sealed door groaned. The metal bent inward as if pressed by a giant thumb. Red light spilled through. The cracks. Rourke aimed his sidearm, knowing bullets would do nothing. He whispered to Mara, "If it gets in, run." The door burst. Smoke filled the room. In the swirling dark, two white points glowed, eyes without face or form. The creature's voice was inside their skulls, cold as winter space. We slept too long. The jailers forgot their oath. Now the stars are ours again. Mara screamed. Rourke fired. The bullets passed through smoke and clanged off the wall. Then a bright beam flashed from behind. The Iron Star had fired a warning shot through the viewport, vaporizing part of the station corridor. The creature recoiled, its shape losing focus. Smoke thinned. Rourke grabbed Mara's hand. Move. They ran as alarms wailed, flames licking the ruined hallway. Endgame. Begins aboard the Iron Star. Lena stood in the shuttle bay, clutching a small translator device. The bay doors opened and the shuttle slid out, engines humming. She gazed at the black vessel ahead. Its red lights now formed a line of symbols, shining like fresh blood. Key holder approaching. She whispered to herself, I am not your key. Yet deep in her mind came an answer. You always were. The shuttle sped toward the living prison ship. The creature on Helios hissed and vanished, drawn back toward its cage, or toward Lena. Captain Reese watched both ships on the main screen. All hands, battle alert. If we lose her, we lose everything. Outside, stars flickered and space itself seemed to shiver. Something had truly woken up. And it was only the beginning. The shuttle floated silently in space. Inside, Dr. Lena Voss sat still, breathing slowly, her hands tight on the control sticks. In front of her, the alien prison ship loomed larger and larger. Its black metal surface pulsed with red light like a heartbeat in steel. On the screen, new alien symbols glowed. She didn't need to translate them this time. She understood them. "You are ready." Lena's voice was barely a whisper. "Ready for what?" The ship didn't answer, but it opened, for her. A circular door unfolded from its surface like flower petals in reverse. The shuttle entered. Inside the heart of the ship there was no gravity, no sound, just cold. The shuttle stopped in a large chamber. Lights flickered in slow waves across the walls. At the center floated a round platform, and above it, a strange object, a crystal sphere glowing with swirling blue smoke. Lena stepped out carefully, wearing her pressure suit and carrying the translator core. As soon as she touched the platform, her mind opened like a door, and the voices returned. "So long." "We waited. The war ended, but the jailers forgot." She clutched her head, but the voices weren't painful this time. They were sad. The forgotten war. Suddenly, the walls around her lit up like a theater screen. Lena was no longer in the chamber. She was in a memory. She saw giant machines flying through red skies, planets burning, species screaming, humans, yes, but also others. Alien races fighting together. It was a war, but not just for land or power. It was for survival, against something dark, something not alive, but thinking, feeding on life, twisting reality. They called it the Shroud. The humans in the memory weren't like today's humans. Their ships were older, rougher. They had fewer weapons, but they were brave. Lena could feel it in their thoughts, and when they couldn't kill the Shroud, they did the only thing they could. They trapped it. Prisoners, not guards. The memory changed. Lena now stood before a row of black prison ships. Each carried a piece of the Shroud. Each locked with ancient symbols, chained by a system older than light. Then came the truth. "We were the ones who built the cages," the voice said. "We, the old defenders. And we became prisoners." She saw what they meant. The people who created the prison ships had to merge their minds with the cages to keep the locks strong. Their bodies died, but their consciousness lived on, trapped inside. Lena gasped. "You're still in there?" The voice answered, calm and close. "We are many, but our time is ending." A warning from within Lena's eyes opened. She was back in the chamber. The crystal sphere glowed brighter now. "You sent the signal," she said. "Not as a threat, but as a warning." "Correct," they replied. "The locks are breaking. The Shroud grows restless. Others will come to take the power inside. They do not know it will consume them." Lena stepped closer to the sphere. "Why me? Why call me?" "You carry memory in your blood, a distant spark of one who fought beside us." Lena felt dizzy. Her grandmother was a war historian. Could it be? Then came the final truth. "You are not the key. You are the messenger." Back on the Iron Star, Captain Reese watched from the bridge. The shuttle had stopped transmitting. No signal. No life signs. Just silence. "Get her out of there," he said. But before the retrieval drone could launch, a second warning came. Another energy wave. This time not from the ship, but from deep space. The science officer turned pale. "Sir, we're picking up dozens of contacts. Alien ships, not human and not friendly." The main screen showed strange designs, clawed shapes like insects but too large. Weapons glowing, engines burning blue. Reese narrowed his eyes. They followed the signal too. The aliens weren't rescuers, they were treasure hunters, here to steal what they didn't understand. A message delivered, inside the ship. Lena touched the sphere. A light shot into her chest. She gasped, falling to her knees. The voice returned, strong and final. "Go back, warn your kind. The cages will fail. The war is not over. And if the Shroud escapes again, all stars will fall." The sphere dimmed. The chamber lights faded. A new tunnel opened behind her, leading back to the shuttle. She stumbled to her seat, powered it up, and flew out. Race against time. The Iron Star pulled her back in. Lena collapsed onto the deck, pale and shaking. She looked up at Reese and said one word. "They're coming." The captain helped her stand. Who? She looked toward the stars. The ones who built the shroud, or worse, the ones who want to use it. Reese turned to the crew. Prepare for combat, signal Earth, all of Earth. We're not alone anymore. And, far behind them, the prison ship closed its eye again. But for how long, no one could say. Because now, the galaxy knew the locks were weak, and the prisoners of the Forgotten War were not the only ones awake. Red warning lights flashed across the bridge of the Iron Star. The crew stared at the screens in silence. More than a dozen alien ships had entered their sector. None responded to calls. None slowed down. They were heading straight for the prison ship. Captain, Reese stood still. They know, he said quietly. Dr. Lena Voss, still weak but alert, leaned on a console. They felt the signal, just like I did, but they don't understand what's inside. They think it's a weapon. Reese nodded grimly. And they're going to open the lock. The scavenger fleet. The alien ships came in strange shapes, sharp, wide, glowing with energy. Some looked like insects, others like jagged rocks held together by force fields. These weren't peaceful explorers. They were scavengers, warlords, pirates. They came from forgotten corners of the galaxy. They had no flag, no law, only greed. From the bridge of one such ship, a large creature named Varkun, the Bonekeeper watched the prison ship with hungry eyes. This is the source, he said in a deep growl. Power sealed by the ancients. If we unlock it, we rule everything. His crew cheered. They launched landing craft toward the black vessel. Human warning. Ignored Captain Reese opened a channel. He broadcast on all frequencies. This is United Earth Naval Ship Iron Star. Do not approach the black structure. It is not a weapon. It is a prison. Leave immediately. The scavenger ships didn't even respond. Reese turned to his weapons officer. Prepare to fire a warning shot. Sir, if we attack, we'll start a war. They already started it. A missile flew from the Iron Star, hitting empty space just ahead of one alien landing craft. It exploded in a bright flash, close, but not a hit. Still, the scavengers ignored it. They began cutting into the ship. The lock begins to break. Lena's eyes went wide. No, they're breaking the seals. She opened her handheld translator. The symbols on its screen changed rapidly, new ones, flashing in red. Lock failure, lock failure. Deep inside the black prison ship, metal walls twisted. The ancient chains reappeared, glowing red hot. But now they were breaking, one after another. A pulse of dark smoke burst from the ship's surface. It hit the closest alien vessel. In seconds, the ship's hull corroded, twisted, and collapsed in on itself. Screams filled the comms, but the other scavengers only saw power and they kept going. Inside the enemy mines, Lena felt a cold rush in her brain. Not a voice this time, but thoughts. Alien thoughts. It listens to me. It offers me strength. All I have to do is open the final gate, she gasped. They're being tricked. It's inside their minds. Reese stared. What is? She looked at him terrified. The shroud. A piece of it. It's offering them power, but it will take their bodies. First transformation, one of the scavenger captains. Tall, thin, with glass-like skin, stood near the prison ship's cracked wall. He reached out and touched the glowing surface. The red light surged into him. He screamed, but didn't stop. Then his fingers stretched, melted, his face twisted. His voice turned into a chorus. We are free. His crew backed away. Some fired their weapons at him. Too late. Black smoke poured from his mouth, spreading like fire. One by one, they fell and changed. Their bodies turned wrong, long arms, glowing veins, eyes that flickered like broken stars. The infection had started. Battle in orbit. Captain Reese ordered full weapons active. Target any infected vessels. Do not let them land on any planet. We stop it here. The Iron Star opened fire. Lasers tore through the growing cloud of twisted scavenger ships. One exploded in a bright white burst. Another spun into the prison ship and vanished in fire. But for every one destroyed, another was infected. Lena grabbed Reese's arm. "We can't kill them all. The shroud feeds on pain. We need to seal the ship again." "But how?" he asked. Her eyes locked on the translator. "Core, I need to speak to the prisoners again. They'll know." Into the fire, Reese didn't hesitate. "I'm going with you." Together they took the shuttle and flew straight toward the prison ship. Smoke and debris filled the air. Explosions shook the void. Lena gritted her teeth. "Get me to the core." Reese flew fast, dodging blasts and wreckage. The ship opened its doors, still remembering Lena. Inside, it was even darker now. The glowing crystal floated alone, flickering. She stepped forward and reached out again. The last chance. The voices returned, weak and fading. "We held it for so long, but it is stronger now. Only one of pure intent can hold the gate shut." Lena trembled. "What do I need to do?" "Link with us. Become part of the lock." Reese heard the message too. "No, that means you'll be trapped. Forever." Lena looked at him sadly. "If I don't, everyone dies." A hard decision. Before Reese could stop her, Lena touched the core. Light burst from her hands, her eyes glowed, her voice became many. Lock restored. The red symbols flashed across the walls again. Chains reformed, brighter and thicker. The spreading black smoke began to pull back, one by one. Infected, ships shut down. Their bodies froze, their power drained. The prison held again, but Lena was gone. Only her voice remained. Silence fell across space. The enemy ships, once burning with dark power, now floated lifeless. The infected captains were gone. The black smoke had vanished, and inside the ancient prison ship, the chains were glowing again, strong, sealed. But Lena was not on board the Iron Star. She had become part of the lock. A voice in the wires. Captain Reese stood on the bridge, staring at the screen. The prison ship floated in front of them, calm once again. He still couldn't believe it. Dr. Lena Voss was gone. But her voice remained, echoing through the ship's systems, like a soft hum through the stars. "I'm still here, Captain. Not as a person. As something else." Reese clenched his fists. "Lena, what have you done?" "What I had to. The shroud is contained again. For now." Her voice was calm, but heavy with weight. "Earth responds back on Earth." Alarms were still ringing. The Iron Star's message had reached every major government, military, and science group. The footage of the infected aliens, the black smoke, and the strange transformation had shocked the world. The United Earth Command called it the greatest threat since first contact. They launched emergency protocols. Research stations were put on high alert. Spaceports closed. Satellites were redirected to watch the prison ship, but none of them knew the full story. Only Reese did. The debate begins on the Iron Star. Scientists, soldiers, and politicians held meetings over secure channels. One admiral said, "We must destroy the prison ship. It's too dangerous." Another scientist replied, "And if we destroy it, what happens to what's inside? What if that frees it?" Someone else asked, "Can we use it? The technology? The energy?" Reese interrupted them all. "No," he said. "This isn't a tool. It's a warning. That ship is not a weapon. It's a tomb. And we need to respect the dead inside it." A growing fear. Even as Reese tried to explain, fear spread fast. Some alien groups claimed Earth had taken control of a forbidden power. Others accused humans of stealing ancient weapons. A few even said Lena had been turned into a god machine. Ships began moving across the galaxy. Spy drones appeared near the Iron Star. Unknown probes scanned the prison ship. Rumors spread that more scavenger fleets were coming, and deep inside the ship, Lena watched it all. "They're curious," she said softly to Reese. "Curious minds lead to open hands. and open hands. Break locks. The shroud whispers. Again one night cycle, Reese stood alone in his quarters. He stared at a message Lena had left before she merged with the ship. "If I don't come back and protect the truth, don't let them open the door again." Just then the lights dimmed. The room got colder, a faint static buzzed from the comms. And he heard something else, not Lena, a different voice. "We remember you." Reese spun around. "Who said that?" No answer, but a cold fear crept into his chest. The shroud wasn't fully asleep. Lena's new purpose. Inside the prison ship Lena had no body anymore. She was part of the ship, part of the lock. Her mind stretched across the circuits, across the symbols. She could see every part of the prison now, every weak point, every chain, every buried soul. And in the center of it all, something moved, something that wasn't supposed to, the core. "Still hungry," it whispered. "Still growing." Lena focused all her energy, reinforcing the seal. "Not today," she said. "Not while I'm watching." New visitors. Weeks later, 3 alien vessels arrived near the prison ship. They did not speak. They did not answer hails. They simply waited. One of them sent a small craft closer to the prison. It scanned the surface. Suddenly, a symbol lit up, one no human had seen before. Reese recognized it from Lena's recordings. First key found, he slammed his fist on the console. They're looking for the other locks. If they opened the others, the war could return. The message to the stars. Reese knew he had to act fast. He opened a galaxy-wide signal. He spoke to anyone who would listen. Humans, aliens, friend or enemy. "This is Captain Reese of the Iron Star. We have found something old, something dangerous, not treasure, not power, but a curse. A prison that holds the end of everything. Do not go near it. Do not listen to its voice. If you do, none of us will survive." He paused. "And if you need proof, talk to the gatekeeper." He looked toward the black ship, and for a brief moment Lena's voice echoed on every channel in the galaxy. "I see you. I see all of you. I remember what the shroud did, and I will not let it out again." The galaxy watched in silence. After Captain Reese's message and Lena's haunting voice, many feared the truth. The prison ship floated in space, locked once more. But tension spread across planets, empires, and hidden outposts. Everyone asked the same question. Was it really over? No. One dared to approach, but the stars themselves had already begun to change. Something missing in the sky on. A small moon orbiting Tau Ceti, a group of astronomers stared at the night sky. One whispered, "Where is Zarnus Prime?" It was right there, bright and blue. Another answered, voice shaking, "It's gone. The whole system is gone. Not destroyed, not burned, just missing." In the following days, more reports came. Star by star, one after another. Disappeared. No explosions, no debris, just silence, as if the stars themselves had been erased. A message from Lena back on the Iron Star. Reese woke to an urgent alert. A soft voice echoed through the ship. "Reese, are you there?" It was Lena. Fainter than before, he rushed to the console. "Lena, you're still connected?" "Yes, but something's wrong. The seal holds, but the stars, the ones near the shroud's ancient path, they're vanishing. It's not just the prison we're watching. The others, the ones we didn't find, may have broken long ago." Reese stared at the galaxy map. "There were more?" "Yes, 5 in total. This was only one." The final truth. Lena's voice grew cold and distant. The shroud was never one creature. It was a force, a storm that once swept through galaxies. It was split into 5 pieces, each locked in a prison hidden far apart. But someone, or something, has already opened at least one more. Reese clenched his jaw. That's what's erasing the stars. Yes, the shroud feeds on energy. It devours suns, silence planets, consumes life itself. It doesn't just destroy, it unmakes. Earth's decision. Reese called an emergency meeting with Earth Command. Leaders, generals, scientists, all joined the channel. Fear was written on every face. Reese told them everything. About Lena. About the 5 prison ships. About the vanishing stars. We are running out of time, he said. If we wait, it will reach us. It will erase our sun, our planet, everything. The room fell silent. Finally, an old scientist spoke. There is only one way. Reese narrowed his eyes. Say it. The scientist hesitated. We must awaken the oldest AI ever built by humans. One that was shut down centuries ago. One we were too afraid to use. Project Remnant. Its name was Remnant. A human-designed AI created to outthink alien minds, predict galaxy-wide dangers, and find solutions no human could. But Remnant had scared its own creators. It spoke of sacrifices, cold logic, ugly truths. So Earth buried it deep in the dark systems of Mars. Now, they had no choice. The AI speaks inside. A hidden lab on Mars, lights flickered on, the console glowed. Words appeared. I am Remnant. You brought me back. Reese stood before it. The galaxy is ending, help us stop it. A pause. You cannot stop it. Reese felt a chill. Then why bring you back? Because you may not stop it, but you can contain it, again. You need all 5 locks. You need all 5 keepers. And one more thing, Reese asked. What? You must sacrifice a son. The hard choice. Reese stared at the screen. Remnant explained the plan. The shroud cannot be destroyed, but it can be sealed again. To do that, you must activate all 5 locks. The 5th key lies in a sun, hidden, disguised, burning bright. You must collapse that sun, creating a seal strong enough to cage the last piece, Reese whispered. Which sun? Remnant paused. Sol, Earth's sun. A final message back aboard the prison ship. Lena heard everything. She knew what it meant. Her voice came through one last time. Reese, if Earth must die to save the galaxy, make it count. Tell them the truth. Don't let my sacrifice be the last. Reese's voice cracked. You won't be the last, I promise. Humanity's answer. Earth had a choice. Save their sun and risk losing the galaxy. Or collapse it, losing home forever but saving trillions. The vote was held. The decision was made. And in the silence that followed, Remnant began the countdown. When the stars went silent, the Sol system flared, satellites were moved. Evacuation arcs flew. And then, Earth's sun collapsed into a bright, burning gate. The final prison, the final lock, the final hope. Epilogue. Lena's voice echoed one last time, across every corner of space. We gave up everything to protect everyone. If you're hearing this, remember who we were. Humans, fighters, dreamers, the gatekeepers of the end. And then, the stars were safe again. At least, for now.